Congress is wrapping up its business just in time for Christmas, and the president seems to be on a rebound from the beating he took in the midterm. Jake Tapper's at the White House. And Jake, with the expected passage later today of the START nuclear treaty with Russia, the White House is racking up some significant wins.
That's right, and later this morning, President Obama will sign the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell into law. So with that and the START treaty expected to be ratified later today, he'll go to Hawaii with two big victories in his pocket and, George, perhaps a template for how to work with Republicans going forward.
Remember this from just a few weeks ago?
I'm not recommending for every future president that they take a shellacking like I did last night.
But who was shellacked? The president and Democrats in the past few weeks have passed a tax compromise package, repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and they stand on the verge of getting the START nuclear disarmament treaty ratified. To hear Republican Senator Lindsey Graham tell it, it's his side that was shellacked.
This has been a capitulation in 2 weeks of dramatic proportions of policies that wouldn't have passed in the new Congress.
The White House says this was all accomplished by being more bipartisan.
I think the president would admit that he spent more time reaching out to Republicans recently than in previous times.
And the president could be playing more negotiator-in-chief soon. When he returns from Hawaii, he intends to hold a bipartisan retreat at Camp David. And White House sources tell ABC News the president feels there's potential for bipartisan compromise on education reform. Soon-to-be Speaker John Boehner, after all, chaired the House Education Committee that helped write the No Child Left Behind bill. Spending cuts and reducing the deficit, which Republicans talk about wanting to tackle, and government reform like eliminating earmarks and adding transparency. Some observers say a bipartisan 2011 seems possible.
The door's open a crack now, and everybody's leaving Washington perhaps with a better sense of the other side than we saw the past 2 years.
And President Obama hopes to hold a press conference later today, George, after the START vote, in which he'll talk about the bipartisan nature of so many of the successes during the lame duck. George?
So there is some hope for bipartisan compromise in 2011, but during this lame duck, they weren't able to reach agreement on the budget. There's that 9/11 health responders bill still held up. Everything dealing with spending seems to be ripe for more clashes, and those fights are going to hit right at the beginning of next year.
That's exactly right. There's going to have to be a vote to raise the debt ceiling in the spring, as well as, of course, the vote on the budget. And there's going to be a lot of fights there about spending cuts. And you're going to see whether or not this spirit of bipartisanship is truly able to move beyond the new year. George.
Okay, Jake, thanks very much.